There we go. Here we go.
Hello.
All right.
Hello. Invited me to come and tell you a little bit about me and Dare2Byou and what the whole thing's about. So I'm going to start really just by telling you a little bit about me. So obviously that photograph is me with my little ball of fluff, Annie the Chihuahua. He's on my knee. So that's us last summer in the garden when it was still nice and hot. But you can see there just on that page, I've got my website on there and Facebook and Instagram and all of the hashtags and emails and all them wonderful things. So you can contact me using any of them if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about me first and hope that this PowerPoint moves on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I came about to start my own little business, my own little enterprise called Dare2Byou. So, I guess I've got to start right at the very beginning. So I grew up in a little town called Beedale. I don't know if any of you know it, but it's down in North Yorkshire. So I went to school down there and, had a pretty usual growing up, really. Just did everything that all the other kids did. And just used to be tall and broke a lot of bones and used a wheelchair, but that didn't really matter. I did everything that everyone else did. So while I was still at school, by the time I got to secondary school, I got a bit about looking at careers advice and speaking to the careers people. And I think on that day, I can still remember that day, going and seeing my careers teacher, and I feel a little bit that my career path was set on that day. Because I remember going in my little burgundy uniform that I had, which was absolutely no good when you've got ginger hair, but never mind. So I went in to go and see her, and I remember her kind of giving me that look as if to say, "Oh, she does really well to go to school, doesn't she?" Oh, and she went, "What? Do you have any ideas what you would like to do when you start working?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I would love to be a midwife. That's really what I would love to do, but I know that that's going to be a little bit difficult because I'm very small. So I would like to look at other medical professions." And she just put her head on one side and she went, "Have you ever thought about maybe working in medical records? You could type up the medical notes." And from that day on, I think that kind of set my path, if you like, for my career. And from that day on, really, I went down the business route, the typing, administration, computers route. I knew I didn't want to work in IT because I can't think of anything more boring, to be honest. But that just kind of set me on that route. So I think that was her low expectations of me, not thinking that I might be able to be a medical professional, not kind of working with me to think about what things I could do. She just focused on what I couldn't do and then gave me the best option that came into her head at the time. So that was kind of what started me, I guess. But from there, I did business degree and then started looking for jobs. So at the time, I had my social life and things in York. Loved York, loved going out to the pub in York and had great friends in York. So I was applying for jobs there. And I was getting interviews, but not getting a job. When I was still living with mum and dad who were driving me nuts, and I'm sure I was driving them nuts. So, obviously I needed to get a job. And then one turned up in somewhere called North Shields that I'd never really heard of at the time. I knew it was somewhere up near the Metro Centre. That was kind of as much as I knew. So I applied for this job and couldn't got it because the job was about setting up a project for young disabled people to access leisure. And I was like, "Oh, well, I am the least sporty person you've ever met. I'm definitely not a sporty girl." So I was quite surprised that I actually got the job. I thought, "Oh, well, here we go." So I guess I don't have any regrets because obviously that was 20 years ago. Giving my age away there, wasn't I? But that was 20 years ago, and I've moved jobs quite a few times since then. But every job I have ever had has been linked with disability in some way. And I don't regret that, because I've met brilliant people, learned so much, gained so much experience. But you know, when you just have that feeling, that niggling feeling in your belly that there's something missing and you want to do something else. And I think that kind of really just kind of came to light for me a few years ago. Well, it was 2016. Anne, who was one of my PAs, she actually PA'd for me. She was a real laugh. We got on really well with her. But she was diagnosed with a brain tumour, and it was in the wrong place. They couldn't operate. They couldn't do anything, and unfortunately, she passed away pretty quickly after the diagnosis. But she had so many things that she wanted to do. She had plans to get a little villa in Cyprus, and she wanted to do things with her grandkids, and she was only in her early 60s. You know, she had so much more life in her, but obviously it didn't happen for her. So that, quite frankly, was a total kick up the bum for me to think, right, I've got to do something now. You know, I can't just sit with this niggling feeling in my belly for the rest of my life that there's more, there's something more out there. So I knew I had to do something. So this leads me to my midlife crisis. So that midlife crisis is kind of, it's not just happened overnight, but I've kind of had it for, it's probably taken about 5 years to properly take shape. But last year, beginning of last year, obviously when we went into the pandemic, I was furloughed from my job, which I enjoyed my job, but I knew it wasn't really what I wanted to do. It wasn't, I've been there a long time and I knew that I needed to be doing something different. So after being furloughed, the possibility of redundancy came up. So I decided to be a big brave girl and have a bit of a panic and, you know, have a mad moment and actually take voluntary redundancy, which I did. So I took voluntary redundancy. I've been very lucky because I have actually got a part-time job working at Disability North as well in the direct payments team. So that has allowed me a bit of breathing space, because obviously we all worry about money. We all worry about how we're going to pay our mortgage and have no exception. So I was thinking, God, if I quit my job and then Dare2Byou doesn't work, or I get no paid work and nothing comes up fast enough, I'm going to lose my house. What's my dad going to say to me? What my friends going to think? You know, how am I going to be able to go away? You know, things like that. So I had all of those worries. So working at Disability North has kind of given me the breathing space to set Dare2Byou up. Okay. Right, so now that I've given you the kind of background into it, I better tell you a little bit about what Dare2Byou is. So that picture of me still makes me laugh, because I had post-it notes scattered all over my wall just to take the photograph. And you can see Annie, the Chihuahua, is still in there. She's never far away. She's, you know, she's the main decision maker. Makes all the big decisions. But yeah, so Dare2Byou is going to be about one-to-one coaching. So I'm busy at the moment doing my diploma in coaching, because having a qualification in something is really quite useful to get yourself going. So that qualification that I'm doing, it's brilliant, really, you know, because it's more than just doing essays and assignments and written pieces of work. I'm in study buddy groups and actually get to practice on real people, you know, doing coaching sessions with people. So that's really good. I'm really pleased that I picked that course. So I don't know if you know much about coaching, but I think probably when people think about coaching, you probably think about sport, probably think about sports coaches, but it's kind of can be much bigger than that. So it can be coaching to help you basically come up with your own solutions to things that are happening in your life. And the sort of skill of the coach is asking the right questions to make you really think of other possibilities and what's going to be best for you. And then together you come up with an action plan to kind of move things forward. So, you know, that's basically what the one-to-one coaching is going to be when I get my qualification and I get that far. So I don't know if you want to ask any questions about coaching now, or since there's not that many of us.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of going this way myself.
Right.
So my background, I'm an ex-teacher, ex-charity manager, and I've been out of the workforce now for about 16 years.
Right.
So I guess my questions are going to be a bit basic, like what's the qualification that you're doing?
So it is a diploma in coaching. So the one that I'm doing, I mean, there's loads out there, but the one that I'm doing is with Noble Manhattan, the company called Noble Manhattan, and they are international. They're all over the world, and the course is good. You know, it gives you everything that you need to know about coaching, but you also get your accreditation and kind of like your insurance and things comes in with it. So it's pretty impressive. And as I say, I think what attracted me to doing it with Noble Manhattan was the connections that you make with other people. They have Zoom calls all over the world, which is really good. So that's really useful. But I can send you the information on the course and the website if that helps.
I've got it actually in front of me. Well, I've got their course list, and I've just searched it now.
Yeah.
So, but if we can connect on Facebook, that'd be brilliant. Outside, you know, rather than take up this time now, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot out there, and I think one of the big things is the cost of it as well.
Yeah.
They're not cheap.
Yeah, I'm doing some cheap courses right now, but I'm I've done all sorts, and I've done mentoring, and so I've got a reasonable idea of what we're talking about. Anyway, I'll not take up time now. I'll let you.
Okay, no problem. So then I have this other sort of idea in my head around group coaching. So what I'm kind of thinking about with group coaching is to be able to get people together, not necessarily people that have impairments or disabilities, but anybody and everybody, because I think just through life experience, through, you know, my friends and then the people that I've worked with, I think we all have similar life experiences and similar blocks, if you like, for in coaching terms, they're called beliefs that limit you. So then beliefs that you just believe, I can't do that. I'm not pretty enough to do that. I've not got enough money to do that. I couldn't ever compete with that. You know, all them things that you believe yourself and you can't see a way out of. And I would love to be able to create some kind of group coaching sessions where people, you know, get to connect with each other, because it can be a lonely old world, especially in the pandemic, when you're looking on social media and everybody seems to be doing fantastic things, and you're thinking, well, I can't do that because of this or because of that. And if we could just get that kind of conversation going with people to think, yes, actually, you can do it, and this is, think about it some more, and this is how you can do it. So people come up with really good plans. So I would absolutely love to do that. And then the last one is equality and inclusion. So this is something that I'm personally quite passionate about, because I think when you are a disabled person, you know, it's you come across this all the time. It's, you know, people are always talking about equality agendas and inclusion and diversity, and really, you know, if that's not happening, if there isn't equality, then that is a genuine barrier for people to not be able to do what they want to do. And that's not just around disability. I mean, especially at the moment, you just have to put the TV on and throw Harry and Meghan have set off their own debate, haven't they, about, you know, equality and race and things like that. So it's all over the place at the moment. Yeah, so that is what I would like to do. And at the moment, in the early days of Dare2Byou, the kind of 2 paid bits of work that I've done have actually both been around equality and inclusion from 2 massive organisations that wanted to talk about it from a disability perspective, which I was more than happy to do, but I want it to be broader, because I almost feel that talking about it from just disability is not entirely inclusive. It's everybody. That's the meaning of diversity. It's all of us. So that's what I would love to be able to get out there.
Brilliant.
Oh, okay. So it's me, you know, chilling in the garden. pretending to meditate. Okay, so I am absolutely full of it this week because I sat for 4 days last week, 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 5 o'clock in the morning. I've only just caught up on my sleep. Doing the Tony Robbins big event. So I don't know if you know who Tony Robbins is.
Yes.
Yeah. The big American life coach, guru man that's super powerful, 6'8", full of energy, dances all over the stage, trillionaire probably, you know. But you know, he did it virtually, so it was probably the only opportunity that I'll ever get to be able to go to one of these events. And it was £240, so that's a hell of a lot cheaper than it normally is. And it was quite amazing. It's not for everyone, but you know, it certainly was quite powerful and you know, quite something to see. 40,000 people all on a Zoom call. It's pretty impressive stuff. 40,000, mad. So I think pretty much his quote there just kind of, I probably already covered that by saying that I really want people to be able to see how they can create an extraordinary life for themselves, and it's not beyond any single one of us. No matter what your circumstance, we can all turn our lives around, all conquer them limiting beliefs. And once you've worked out what your purpose is, then you need to take action. You need to take steps. It won't just come to you, but you know, to be able to live your life towards that purpose, I think is great. And hopefully, if Dare2Byou can help people along, then that's what I'm here to do.
Excellent.
Okay, you'll like this one, Jonathan.
Right.
So I think it's important to say, you know, to be able to do that, you've got to have that sort of healthy body, and the healthy body will lead to healthy mind as well. So I do try. I do my very best. You know, obviously when I'm sitting in a wheelchair 24 hours a day unless I'm sleeping, you know, trying to be fit and active and just being careful what I eat, being mindful of kind of how much activity I'm getting, and just staying a certain weight. I'm reluctant to talk about weight, but for me that's quite important, you know. And I think, you know, so many people take the easy option really of, we'll just have a takeout or just have fast food, and you know, we'll take the lift instead of the stairs and things like that, you know. And I think it's just really important, self-care, looking after yourself, doing them little naughty things every now and again, if you like, about daring up when you're watching the telly. Nothing wrong with that at all, but just everything in moderation and just being very careful about what you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, I put this one in, I think probably because I like the picture. But again, I've sort of touched on it already. Diversity, energy, equality, innovation and inclusion. So I think them things there, you know, if they aren't happening for people, if they aren't there, then it's really difficult to participate in whatever people want to do. And again, I just want to sort of emphasize that's not just about disabled people, that's about all of us. And I do tend to have a little bit of a rant every now and again when something comes on the TV or something's even on social media about, you know, individual groups of people not being included, because I'm like, it's everyone, it's all of us. With proper collaboration and all working together, that's how we'll achieve brilliant communities and real things that work. And Winston Churchill obviously had it nailed all them years ago, so he must have been a pretty smart fella. Yeah, the other thing, I've just glanced over at my notes there. One thing that has kind of occurred to me from them 2 paid sessions that I did, they talked a lot about their equality, inclusion and diversity policy. And they were saying, but we've already got a policy. There might be room for improvement, but we've got a policy. And I was like, yeah, well, that's great, but do you use it? Does it come out of the drawer? You know, and you could see people going, no. So there was lots of people that didn't even know they had one. There was lots of people that certainly hadn't read it. There was a couple of managers that had read it but didn't really know what to do with it. So that's really just a bit of a tick. We've done that one tick, you know, tick that one off. So, you know, I think that's really important that when policies, you know, aren't just a tokenistic thing that they do, that they're real and they're about real lives and real people, and it's through storytelling, you know, and telling your story and real experience and not being scared to share them experiences that we all have, that will be what leads to change. And I think that's it. I think I'm up to questions and answers. Well, yeah. You can ask questions. I don't know if I'll be able to answer. I'll try.
So first off, when do you finish your diploma then, Angie? When are you ready to rumble?
I'm aiming for the 23rd of June.
Well, brilliant. Not long.
To give you an absolute date there. You know, that's what I'm aiming for, because that will be a year to the day that I launched the website.
Oh, excellent.
That's my thing. It'll take us a year to get
Very
the result. And it's my mum's birthday as well. So it's
excellent. Yeah. Good timing.
Yeah, I can't forget that, can I?
No, if I might be remembering this wrong, Angie, was there a point where you needed case studies?
Not so much case studies, but there's two things that you might be thinking that I've probably said to you, is about sort of maybe once I've probably got to this point, being able to kind of have a few groups running about what Dare2Byou might be able to offer. You know, if I go back to the slide where I said, hang on, let me get it here and I can tell you properly. Group coaching, yeah. So for the group coaching, you know, I'd quite like to get like a couple of little focus groups together to be able to ask people what they think group coaching could offer and what would it look like, and, you know, kind of, so I can properly make sure that I'm asking people and it's not all in my little head, which at the moment it is. So I want to get it out there and speak to people about it. So that could be one of the things you're thinking about. But the other thing is to qualify to do the course, I need to be able to...
1 second, Angie. Carol will get... I think your microphone's... it's cutting Angie out.
The buzzing, it's the dog. It's a dog wanting to go out, but I'm sat on the sofa, so he'll have to wait. I'm not in my chair.
Is there any chance we're going to mute your microphone just for
yeah, sure. Mute. You can mute people.
That's it. That's it.
So yeah, the other thing that I'm going to need is some people to coach. So it would be free. It would be pro bono, definitely, until I'm qualified, because I need to get some practice coaching sessions in. So yeah, so that might be what you're thinking.
I recalled you mentioned something like that quite a while back now. So no, well, if you want help with outreach and stuff like that, Angie, I'm always here to help.
Fantastic.
No problem.
I may be coaching you.
I know, but you never know. You never know. Carol, have you got any extra questions?
So thank you, brilliant talk, by the way. So what we've done when we've done group coaching is we've had two people. So we've had a facilitator running the group, and then usually me actually, doing the one-to-one work within that group. Now that's with teenagers with pretty extreme issues, not people wanting to move their lives on. But that worked really well with two people. So I don't know if that's something that you would have opened to you, but certainly something we've done.
Yeah, I mean, it's thinking differently, isn't it? Because, you know, I've done bits and pieces like this over the years, but it's all been in a meeting room, face to face, like a workshop sort of.
Yeah.
With a flip chart and a pen and a table and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
On Zoom call, so it's quite different. So it's just thinking about how it might look.
No, but it's very exciting. But I would like to connect with you and maybe be one of your people that you coach, to be honest, in this training period. That would be brilliant.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Excellent. What's your second name, Carol?
Hall. You'll see me in Jonathan's group as I finally get around to finishing videos off. Or I'm going by the name Wheelie Mum. But I'm way back. I'm like 12 months behind you in what I'm doing. So at the moment, I'm all about getting the weight off and getting stronger. So I'm nowhere near at the point you're at yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, it just takes the willpower, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you want to do it.
I mean, I'm at 6.5 stone so far, so I'm getting there.
Very well, Carol.
Anyway, thank you.
Wow, that is amazing. That's great.
Of course, everyone who's watching the playback in the video, I mean, I'm assuming that they're okay to just write their questions on and things like that, Angie?
Yeah, absolutely. Questions.
Carol, I think we're getting a bit of feedback again from your microphone there.
Must be the mic.
Maybe Carol has a few questions.
Sorry, what was I saying? Oh yes, so everyone who's watching, if you've got any questions for Angie, feel free to put them in the comments. Angie, that'd be okay for you? Yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
and
fine.
obviously you got your email in there somewhere, Angie, or is it, how would you like people to contact you? What would be the best option?
The email is fine, so Angie@Dare2Byou.org.
Oh yes, it's on the bottom there, sorry.
Yeah, on the bottom there. Or you can just search for Dare2Byou on Facebook, and be careful because there is another one that's very similar.
Right.
My logo is in the bottom right hand corner of the slide there. So there. So if you see that, that's the profile picture.
Brilliant. Excellent.
I'm on Instagram as well and LinkedIn. The only one I'm not doing is Twitter or TikTok.
TikTok. No, I haven't got around the TikTok malarkey or anything like that. So no, I'm quite a fan of Instagram, and yeah, I do really like the Instagram. It's very, very good.
So I've grown to love Instagram.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get to grips with it, to be honest myself. It's I am trying to be a bit more active on there anyway.
I only do posts at the minute. I'm very confused by the whole idea of Reels and Instagram TV and
yeah, my understanding of the Instagram TV was that it's just it's videos just over a minute. That's all I know about it anyway. I mean, it could be something completely different here, but that's what I thought the Instagram TV was about.
You're right. It's a time limit on it.
Yeah.
The other thing I've not mentioned is the website.
Oh yes, yeah.
The website is www.dare2byou.org.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Angie. Is there anything else you'd like to let everyone know about, or do you think you've covered what you wanted to cover?
I think I've covered it really.
Well, it was brilliant, Angie.
I think what is exciting is, it's really lovely to be starting something from scratch and see how it's developing each day. When I think about the early days when I was furloughed and I would get up in the morning and I would sit there with my notepad and pen and think, what am I going to do today? What can I get my teeth into? And I could have sat there forever and just stared at that notepad and not really written anything. But I thought, no, we'll start with the website. So that's how I started. And I know, trust me, a lot of times I did think, am I not going to be better just to pay somebody to do this? Because, it's so fiddly to do.
Oh, the web, yeah. I'm with you on that, Angie.
I had no clue what I was doing. I was completely making it up as I went along. And I'm sure if a website designer looked at it, they would see all of the things that I've done wrong.
Same here, Angie.
Yeah. It's starting somewhere, isn't it? And I think it's quite exciting just to be taking an idea from your head, an idea from your personal experience, and making it real. And
Yeah, definitely.
People along on the journey with me.
Definitely. It's I mean, I'm in the same. I think I launched the business around about the same time as you started as well, Angie. So I'm totally with you on that. It's a good feeling when things are developing in front of your eyes, but it's your idea that's coming to life, kind of thing. Yeah.
And I think the other thing is as well. I'm sure you'll find this, Carol, when you get this far, but when you're setting up your own business, doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're making soap in your kitchen and selling it, or whether you're setting up a coaching business, there's such a lovely community of entrepreneurs out there that you make new friends and new connections all the time. I've met so many people in the last year, not face to face, not actually met.
Yeah, yes, same.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's just a whole
it is crazy.
New place to be.
Yeah.
Where normally we would be meeting in cafes, now we just meet in our own front room.
I know. In ways with being in the whole lockdown situation and things like that, I feel I've met more people because we've been at home than you would have on the street or whatever, different workplaces and things like that. So I mean, pros and cons with it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think we're all ready for a little bit of normality again, aren't we?
Yeah. Definitely. Now, it's going to be good.
Definitely.
When we get there, June, isn't it?
Yes. I think he's thinking June 21st. I think it was.
Oh.
For everyone to be.
That's okay. I don't want it to be June 23rd. I can't have it the same day.
Is that when that's when you passed, don't you? That's brilliant. Oh, well, that was really good, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. As I mentioned, anyone watching, feel free to write some. If you've got questions for Angie, write them in the comments or email her. And if that's okay with you, Angie, I think that's marvelous. Right, well, we'll say our goodbyes then now. Until next time.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, and I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks,
everyone. Thank you. Bye.
See you soon.
Bye. Bye.